In the beginning of my second book, The Tao of Craft, I talk about the distinction between esoteric Taoism and exoteric Taoism. That's ESO Taoism and EXO, Exo Taoism. In case you don't have my book, I'm providing that section as a supplemental handout among your course materials. So be sure to read it since this talk is an extension of that written discussion. One of the more confusing points and unanswered questions about Taoism is whether it's about a path that aligns with nature or whether it's about a path of learning how to master or control nature. Exoteric, EXO, exoteric Taoism, which is the more common understanding of Taoist philosophy, as you pretty much know, espouses a path of living in harmony with nature, to yield and to be submissive to nature. Now, on the other hand, esoteric Taoism, ESO, esoteric Taoism, or occult Taoism, espouses a path of cultivating mastery over nature, learning how to control and harness the powers of nature for yourself. So there's an inherent clash or tension between the two principles of esoteric and exoteric Taoism, even though both are still considered Taoism. What's fascinating to me is you can interpret the I Ching legitimately as representing exoteric Taoism as a philosophy of life, an instruction manual on how to live in alignment with and in submission to nature, in submission or veneration of God. Wu Wei, a cornerstone principle of Taoist thought, means non-responsiveness or stillness, non-action. This idea of, again, sort of rolling with the punches and riding out the waves of nature, to be aligned and in harmony and still and exhibit stillness in the face of nature's forces without resistance and without conflict. Now, if you said learning Wu Wei is the thesis of the I Ching, you wouldn't be wrong. But you can also interpret the I Ching legitimately as representing esoteric or occult Taoism, as a grimoire, as an instruction manual on how to control, change, and command the natural forces. So if you read the I Ching and said that it reveals to you all the master codes for changing states of nature so that you can manifest any outcome you desire, then you also wouldn't be wrong. The I Ching can be whatever you need it to be, and to me that's part of its profound wisdom. When you need it to be philosophy, or you're only ready for it to be philosophy, then that's exactly what it is. For example, both James Legge and Richard Wilhelm were Christian missionaries who went to China to find God, and they said they wanted to find God in China, and both Legge and Wilhelm found God in the I Ching. That's why they took to the I Ching so closely and so emotionally, and both ended up producing some of the most famous works in the Western body of literature that are the translations of the I Ching. So when you need the I Ching to give you insight on how to change your future, if you are an occult practitioner or you want to learn how to control the various aspects of nature to develop your craft as a magician and learn how to change your own future, to change other people's futures, then the I Ching will reveal just that to you. But only if you're ready. There is a latent, built-in code of exclusivity to the I Ching from an occult perspective. I think I said earlier in a video lecture that the I Ching seems to have a personality of its own, a life of its own. And so it seems to have this inexplicable sense of when it is being wielded in the hands of a ready and able occult practitioner and when it isn't.